of what the electoral law bill is, right? And it goes over what each province would have, like electoral college would be, such as our states are set up, which we've talked about several times. And I'm so proud that they did it in print so we can see it. There's a gender quotient of about 25%. It's billed by Cabinet Council, usual session 44. It goes over a time date stamp. It tells you how many seats distributed by province or by tribe. And it's very informative. It's a great find. Of course, Baghdad has the most seats because it's big. But no secretarianism, no nepotism. Hopefully, you know what? There's corruption everywhere, right? So they can corrupt that too, but it will take time for corruption to infiltrate that type of St. Louis type of democratic process, right? So, with that, let's bring you guys some news. The third time in a month, Iraqi protesters torched the Iranian consulate. I know a lot of people out there telling me all the time that, you know, until Iran's out, then it's not anything going to happen. But how many times do I have to tell you? When I see articles like this 2-3 times in a week where they're torching the consulate, they're torching buildings, they're infiltrating establishments that Iran is involved in, and they're torching it. There's no room for error here, folks. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, there's going to be issues. Play the bombs with her bad at.
Wait.
You can't be in both. Now, you got to understand something. There is such a thing as peaceful protest. You can't do both. There's such a thing as peaceful protest, and there's such a thing as protesting with a purpose. Certain amount of the Iraqi youth is out there, and you know what? They're mad as hell, and they're not going to stand up for what's going on. And you know what? Rightfully so. They're young. They're ambitious. They don't feel like the status quo is the good old boy system. Like these older Iraqi men and women get prosperous and the rest of these youth sit around and do nothing until they get elected or until they find a backer that it's corrupt that can, you know, put them in position to get them into parliament so they can make some money themselves. Because that's kind of like getting to the NBA or the NFL or something like that. It just doesn't happen often. You know, so a Shiite majority is going to change based upon population. Now, that's how you get really into more of a democracy, based upon how people are placed in your nation and not so much based upon a religious aspect. And that's what we try to teach here. You know what I mean? I'm all for religion. I'm all for the good acts of God. But what I'm trying to tell you is that sometimes governing state doesn't have to be governed by God, but it should have a moral compass. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, with that, Mike Pence, I'm going to read one excerpt from Mike Pence's visit. He said, "You play a key role in expanding trade relations between the United States and Iraq." Now, a currency that's worth $11.94 that's worthless, right? They got gold reserves, they got oil reserves. Why would the vice president say that? Do you see those quotes about Venezuela? Do you see those quotes about Colombia? Do you see those quotes about other countries? No, you don't. Because Iraq plays a pivotal role in Europe. Not just the Middle East, but Europe. Based upon the things in those attributes and traits that they have, they are going to play a huge role, right? Now, people wanted proof of Article 140. I've got proof. I've got proof that they started the census last year, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, right? So we're going to skip that. So, will you remind me about the census, please?
The census.
The census, right? There are indications of use of some ministers' powers. They do not have the parliament accepted the resignation of the prime minister. So there's still ministers out there, according to parliamentary notes, that they are trying to not allow the minister to actually quit, right? That was Wednesday, late Wednesday night. Now, what they did say that I thought was truly interesting was she stressed that the House of Representatives will have a firm position on the cancellations of all decisions taken by the ministers that fall outside of its powers. Previous government during its transitions to the caretaker government. Simply put, the budget will pass as it was written because it was written before al-Mahdi resigned. Play it one more time.